Hello, everyone. I'm just arriving into this beautiful park to record the episode 2 of the podcast. So, welcome to Let's Dive Deeper. Okay, guys, so welcome to the new episode of Let's Dive Deeper. I've been exploring Germany for the past few days, and since the last episode, a lot of shit has happened, a lot of things have changed, and there's so much going on, and I feel just so blessed and inspired, and I just love it. So there's so much I want to share. So let's dive deeper. All right, so now I'm here sitting in this beautiful park. I think it's called Park or something. I will put the name later. I'm terrible with German names. It's so hard for me to remember the name and then try to spell it. But yeah, I just figured today's my last day in Hamburg. I came here for a few days to do some photo shoots and then also visit a friend who was his birthday, and I was also doing like the photography for his birthday. So it just felt like very aligned to come here to Hamburg. But now I'm leaving in a few hours, like maybe in 2 hours, and I had like this free window of time. So I was just like, okay, let's just get barefoot in the grass. The day is beautiful. It's sunny, it's shining. I'm surrounded by nature. So instead of recording the podcast from an apartment from one of my friends, let's just do it in nature. It's my favorite environment. So today I want to dive deeper in topics of what's been going on in life lately and all the things that have changed since I first arrived in Berlin, and I was feeling like a bit frustrated and a bit like things were not going my way, and I was like very like I would say I was putting a lot of resistance in the way of the flow was going, and I was like very stubborn and very like I want it my way. I want things to happen this way, and I was getting desperate or like impatient because things were not going in the way that I wanted, or they were not going as fast as I wanted them to be. But the thing is that the biggest lesson of this whole time, and I'm super open to this whole journey to be completely like a roller coaster with many ups and downs, like left and right, and the flow to just wash me off, because this is what I came here for, to evolve and grow and expand and to work with photography and modeling and acting, of course. And you know, it was quite challenging for me in the first days when I arrived in Germany, because I lost my social media job, like my social media client that I was working with for the last 2 years and a half. And she was lovely and she paid me good money for the job. We stopped working together. And then all of a sudden I was completely left alone with this overwhelm of like, I don't have enough savings. I don't have a place to live. I don't have a home. It's like, oh my God, so much fear kind of started to appear. And of course I was afraid. And of course there was a part of me that was like, did I do the right decision to come to Europe right now in this situation? But honestly, I couldn't be happier with that decision. And now that I look back into the first half of the year and how challenging it was, and how like it was just slapping me hard over and over and over. I had injuries. I had many losses. I had many things that were like I felt like my reality was cracking and falling apart completely. But as I said in the last episode of the podcast, it felt like I was seeing the death of one of my identities and jumping into a new timeline. And it all started to happen in Berlin so clearly and nicely that now I feel like I jumped into this timeline and I'm fresh, brand new, really finally embodying and living the life that I've always wanted to live with. I wouldn't change anything, you know. I'm like so happy and so grateful that life is flowing in the way that it's happening now, because, you know, I went from being unemployed and kind of like working with photography, but not too seriously, you know. It was like my side gig, like my extra money that I would make, and, you know, I never promoted myself. And then these weeks that I've been here in Germany, I guess I got more into this flow of like, I want to work, you know, I want to really make an effort and work hard for my dreams and work hard for my goals. And I guess I don't see working as this thing of like 9 to 5 and hustling and working 7 days a week and like not having a life. For me, my life is my priority, and my enjoyment and my happiness are my priority. Like I need to enjoy every single day of life, even if I have to work. I don't like to call it work. I like to call it my creation, you know, because then I'm like creating content to promote my photography, and then I'm doing photo shoots, which is going amazing. So this is exactly what I want to share, and what I want to dive deeper on is that you have to trust the flow. Even if life feels like it's falling apart and it feels like, man, I'm losing everything, I'm getting sick, I'm getting injured, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And you know, when people tell you like, just trust the process, it's like the process is not processing. I'm like, There's a little bit of noise, and I don't know how good the noise cancellation of this is. So let's just, whenever there's like a loud old car, let's just pause, take a breath, and slow down, and then continue. There's no need to rush, although I only have 2 hours to do this podcast. So, and I also have to have lunch and get to the train station. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get it. And if I don't, it's exactly what needs to happen. So back to the story, because I don't want to go through the branches and like make like a big mess with this kind of narration. But basically, there was this version of myself, like the immature kind of present self, right? Because when I don't like to judge or be hard on this version of myself, the present, the current one, but you always need to remember that this present current version of you, it's not your higher self, you know, it's not the most evolved one. It's the same as when you look 10 years in the past and you look at, you know, when you were 20 or 21, you thought like, oh, I have everything figured out, I know a lot of shit, you know, I know how my life is, I know what I like, I know everything. And so on that current version of yourself, you thought you knew, right? You thought you knew what was good for you, or at least you had an idea, and you thought you knew everything about life. And 10 years went by, and now you look back and you think like, wow, I was so stupid. I was so naive. I was so innocent, or I didn't know. Like, we always look back to past versions of ourselves with like kind of resentment, or kind of like not being too compassionate, because we think like, I was so dumb, I was so stupid, I was so naive. And actually at that moment we thought we were the wisest version of ourselves, which we were. But what I'm going with this kind of idea is that, for example, now I'm 30 and I think I consider very developed spiritually and very wise and very like open. Like, I see everything with clarity, and I see things as blessings and gifts and lessons, you know. I don't drown in a cup of water. But at the same time, the current version of myself, the present self that wants things instantly, that wants things like right away, or I want it this way, or I'm sure it would be so good for me to be in a relationship. But you don't really know. Like, this present version of myself has no idea of really what's good for me. The only version of myself that knows everything, while I'm being lit up with a beautiful sunshine under my skin, over my skin, shining and glycerin. While I say this, exactly, it's my higher self just being like, the spotlight is yours. Just share your downloads. Your higher self knows best, right? So it's like, once you start living life in this way of like, I trust fully where my higher self is taking me, because my higher self knows exactly what needs to happen, and the things I need to do, and the places I need to visit, and the people I need to connect with, and the people I need to lose, everything to align me into the path that would take me to that higher version of myself. When you start living life really trusting that your higher self is taking you and guiding you and doing the best to align you to your path and your purpose and your real life purpose, where life feels like a fucking blessing every single day, then you gotta trust the process, and you gotta be open for things to not work out in the way that you would expect them to work out. And you have to be ready to face discomfort and to face a lot of difficult situations, I would say. Like, I would say my life now, where I'm now in this present time, I would say I'm so happy and so fulfilled, and so feeling like I'm embodying exactly the life and the identity that I've always wanted, you know, like this freelance photographer who's a nomad, who's moving around freely without having to explain anything to anybody, you know, without to ask permission for anything. Like, I just dress in the way I want, express in the way I want, do the job that I want, you know. Like, my day is literally waking up at any time I want, except when I have photo shoots in the sunrise, which is very rare, very worth it because of the light, but not my favorite thing to do. And so I think it's the perfect life when you just wake up and you do the things that give you joy, instead of doing the things that you're being forced to do. You know what I mean? I need to make a pause and give a round of applause for the diva who's on the other side of the park dancing with her headphones on in the grass, barefoot, under the sun. I mean, goals. Like, I wish I could do that, but now I'm recording a podcast, but we're sending her so much love and light and support. I know it takes courage to be brave enough to be like, I want to dance right now and I don't give a fuck if people are watching or whatever they're gonna think of me. And even for me, sometimes it's quite hard to do it depending on the environment, because for me, it's like safety is so important, and I need to feel safe and able to flow fully in the capacity that I love to flow. Because of course, I could dance anywhere, but if I don't feel safe, my energy would like would struggle to come out in the way that I love, which is like 100%. But anyways, back to the point, redirecting the ship, because I'm just going through so many ideas and thoughts. So it's good to keep like a structure. It's so beautiful when you finally understand, and when you finally get it. You understand that everything that you've been through in life has prepared you and has taken you through each chapter. It's like life is like a big university, and I've never I didn't finish my college degree. I went to college for like 1 year in bioanalysis and 1 year in theater school, and then I left Venezuela and I didn't finish. And then it was like, okay, I didn't go to college, but I learned so much by just living and traveling and experiencing life completely open, and just learning, seeing each person that enters my life as either a lover or a friend or a deep connection or a master. And some of these masters have destroyed me and hurt me so much, but they also made me tough. They also taught me so much about things, and they helped me to develop this kind of power to stand up for myself and feeling strong. Just my presence and my energy is sending the message of like, I will not accept discrimination. I will not accept homophobia. I will not accept any comments, any noise around anything that would restrict me or put me down or make me feel lower. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, I just don't allow that to happen, because I'm very free, and I'm 100%, and I feel like this is my mission in life, and my gift and my power. It's related to also inspire other people to be free and to get out of the shell, which I was in that shell of being so afraid of expressing and being myself. But now that I came out, it's like, I would love everyone to be free and to be themselves and to express exactly as they want to express, with no shame and no fear. This is like my biggest dream, to ignite that flame in people. And I feel like now I'm fully embodying this life where I'm doing it in many different ways, with the type of content that I share, with the videos that I create for like, dancing around the bicycle or the motorcycle, dancing everywhere, singing everywhere, and just enjoying life without any shame or fear, or without holding back. Because it's just, they put in us this idea that adults need to be serious and need to be miserable and evil. And when I was a kid, I was always worried about watching adults, and they look so sad and miserable and boring, and wearing horrible clothes, and always complaining, and always being like this type of like the evil characters in the child movies. You didn't understand, why are they so sad and miserable? And now I get it. Of course, life can be so tough, and then if you don't wake up and you still see every situation that happens to you as from a victim perspective, just thinking that, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Why is the world against me? Why are people so mean? And it's like, well, baby, it's like, it's all a result of your own frequency, of your own internal state. And when you realize that you're the creator of your own reality, everything that happens around you is just a reflection of you, of your own frequency. So if you're attracting certain type of people, it's because there's something that you're generating that attracts this type of people. Whether if it's good or bad, you need to realize that everything that happens to you is your doing, is your creation, it's your higher self creating everything for you, through you. And then it's kind of like you get the rules of the game when you understand that, and you're like, oh, actually, this is happening for my own benefit, even if it feels like fucking shit, even if it feels like somebody's stepping on my face and, like choking me, and life can be so tough sometimes. But after all of these tough situations, the biggest storms, there's always a blessing. There's not a single curse that doesn't come with a bliss. Like I'm living proof of that. Like the worst crisis in Venezuela, one of the worst crises in the whole recorded history, I think, happened in my home country. And this was like so horrible for me to go through when I was a teenager. And then when I left Venezuela, I felt like, oh my God, I'm being like, I'm being exiled from my home and I'm being like thrown away from my home. But little did I know that actually that was the best thing that could have happened to me, because then I was able to get out of the cage where I was living from a very small conservative Christian family that was not allowing me to even to even wear a fucking bracelet, and then to get out and see the real world and experience so many different cultures and people and points of view, and like also digging deeper into myself and realizing, holy shit, now I can be free, now I can be me, to then spend the last 10 years traveling around and just getting richer and richer and richer of experiences and languages and cultures and knowledge about life, and mostly about my like I love diving deep into myself. I love diving deep. This is why the podcast is called Let's Dive Deeper, because I'm a swimmer and I love free diving, but also I love to, in every relationship, in my relationship with myself, in my relationship with my friends, and every connection, it's like, let's just dive deeper. I don't like surface level. I could enjoy surface level, but I also love the depths, and I love to go deep as fuck. So I think I'm at a point now where I really see the bigger picture, and I really understand how every situation that my current self of that time, my present self of 10 years ago, 5 years ago, was feeling so stuck and feeling so sad or depressed, or feeling like nothing was working out, feeling like I'm a failure, nothing is, like, how am I gonna be able to live the life of my dreams if it feels so impossible? So I hope you find this purse hanging here is like a little bit fabulous. Like, this is the way we're traveling, honey. Traveling lightweighted. Like, my base is in Berlin, but I'm moving around Germany for photo shoots, and so I came just with a small little bag with my cameras and my gear to do my art, and my purse that I bought in Copenhagen. But anyways, back to the point, now that we have silence again. I just look at the bigger picture now, and I look at my whole life as this sort of experience or project, I would say, that my soul wanted to dive into. And I would say the first year were so challenging, and the first years were so tough. And if I could like show you guys a whole film, or like reducing all my life into 2 hours, and maybe I would love to write a book eventually, because life was pretty tough when I was a kid and when I was a teenager. Like, you have no idea how tough it was. Like, I've seen the darkest of the darkest. And then I guess when I came out of Venezuela and I started to go through all of these experiences, like, it was all just preparing me and teaching me all the things that I needed to learn, and giving me all the tools that I needed to grab to develop the type of personality that is needed to become my dream self, to become this Vladimir that is existing right now at this moment, talking to you with 30 years old, living the life of his dreams. Of course, there are some parts that are not quite there yet, but I know that they're gonna come, because if I was able to manifest this life in exactly the way, so exact and so precise in the way that I want it, then the other things that I feel that are not here yet, they're like, this is how you manifest quickly and efficiently. It's like when you talk it into existence in present mode, like, I already have it, I am a photographer. And this is one of the, when I started to feel like it starts to work out this way, it's like you need to be delusional, and you need to kind of start speaking things into existence, even if it's a lie, or even if it's not true yet in this present moment, but it will be. So it's always very helpful to start speaking the things as they already are here. You already have them. You already feel the frequency of, I am full, I am a photographer, I travel with my photography, I am surrounded by abundance, everything that I need is completely covered, I always have food, I always have shelter, I always have love around me, I always have good people around me. And then you start watching the world with this like rose-colored lenses, which I think it's a beautiful thing to do, and looking at the world with loving eyes and with kind eyes. It's kind of like your whole reality would be completely different, right? Your whole reality would be always like nice people around you, people are friendly with you, people want the best for you, people help you, people, strangers all of a sudden are giving you things, or giving you opportunities, which this is real. Like, this is what I experience, because this is the lenses that I put on myself, and that I've been training my brain for the last 10 years to look at the world. And I completely understand when people look at my life and they feel like, oh my God, how can you manage to do this? Because I used to live on fear, I used to live on shame, and those frequencies are so low. And I remember before, I was so afraid of the world. I was so afraid of going out. I was so afraid of talking to strangers. I was always thinking like, people are evil and people will maybe, I shouldn't trust people, or maybe I shouldn't trust strangers, or what if I go to the streets and I get robbed or I get killed? Of course, I come from a country where these things happen, so it's not like Venezuela is not the best place for you to trust people and live in the way that I like to live life, with an open heart and always thinking the best of people and trusting human beings. I love to trust human beings. But yeah, now I'm in this now reality where I'm landing now, where everything feels so smooth and so aligned, and like everyone I meet is just, it's just exactly the connection that I need to meet, and you need to be open also for this type of interactions. To sometimes you meet someone that maybe it's meaningless at that moment, but maybe in 3 years that person will connect you to an experience, or to a person, or maybe this person will be extremely meaningful. Like nothing is by coincidence, absolutely nothing is by coincidence. And everything that you're going through now, if it feels like you're not ready yet, if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like, oh my God, I'm not quite there yet and I'm losing everything and nothing's working out. I've been there many times. I've been in rock bottom many times. I've been broke 3 or 4 times in my life, where my bank account is zero, and I have like, okay, I have no family who can help me, so I'm in deep shit. But luckily, I've always had good friends, good souls around me, because I spread love and kindness and positivity. So all the energy that you put out will always come back, and all the love I've given, maybe probably it didn't come back straight from that person, but it came back multiplied by millions from other people, sometimes by strangers, from the people that you would never expect to give that kind of love and openness to you. I've received it. So now I'm a firm believer that you're the creator of your reality. Everything that you put out will always come back. The way that you treat people, it's so important. It's so meaningful, because then it's kind of like you have this aura around you of trust and love and kindness that people feel so drawn to, and it's just easy, it's just so easy once you understand this, and that life is preparing you for your big breakout, for your big, like, everybody is able to experience that, because I'm now special or different from any of you, I was not born in a rich family. I didn't go to amazing schools to study things, I was just passionate about life, and I jumped, and I was fearless, I became fearless because I was super afraid of things and taking chances and getting out of the comfort zone, of course. But once I broke out from that, it's non-stoppable. And the more you push and the more you realize that you have so much power and you are so divine and you can create your own reality, then it becomes like a game where you have all the tools to create and be the painter and be the artist, and be the muse and be everything. And it just feels so good to get to this point where I am now, where, I'm able to travel around Europe with my photography and spreading my light and my love and my positivity and my message with other people, and creating art while I do this. And the beauty of this is that, I came to Hamburg, so I'm traveling and discovering a new place and visiting old friends and discovering his hometown and his family, which is amazing. But on top of that, I'm also working and I'm also making a living out of it to sustain my travels. And it's just so beautiful. For example, on Monday, 5 a.m., I did this photo shoot with this girl, Lydia, who's from Germany. And she contacted me on social media because she saw my posts and stuff. And so she was like, I would love to have a photo shoot for my birthday, like embodied divine feminine in nature, mermaid, connecting with the water. So this is basically what I do. And if you are here for the first time and you don't follow me on Instagram, I would love for you to go and dive deeper into the photos that I make, because I'm really proud of it. And I really think that I developed my style very well. And it's not too much about the quality of the pictures, which of course I'm a visual person and I'm an artist, so of course that really matters to me. But what really leaves like a good spark in my heart, and what makes me so joyful about the photography that I'm creating, especially in the last months, is that I'm creating a safe space for people. And And I'm creating an experience for people that goes beyond than just a photo shoot, because everybody who leaves my photo shoots, they're like, oh my God, I feel so good. I'm feeling like this was like therapy. And it's very unique. You know, I've had photo shoots of especially women, because I feel like I'm a big magnet for women, because I'm very grounded in my masculinity and my femininity. You know, I'm very balanced. And this creates like a beautiful safe space for women that they don't have with most men, and they don't have with other women, because there's a competition between female and, like, you know, all of that type of shit. It's really touching for me, because each experience is so unique and it's very individual to what the person is going through. So for example, there's been women that are going through like very difficult times, and they feel sad and they feel emotional, and they feel like they just want to express sadness and vulnerability on the pictures. They don't want to seem happy or joyful in that specific day. And I'm like, you go, queen. Like, if you don't feel your most confident self, and you don't want to look like you know, in this type of energy of like, oh, I'm so confident and I'm so beautiful and I'm just so powerful, which is something that I push most of the times in my photography. Like, I love to capture people as divine beings, as like gods and goddesses, with the perfect lighting and the perfect setup, and in a very powerful way. I love to do that, but also if the person is not feeling that way, then I will not push it, because I never force people to do things that don't feel natural to them. I just want people to be captured in a way that feels natural and authentic to them. So if someone is telling me, like, you know, on Friday I had this photo shoot with this girl, which is lovely, and we met in Berlin, we went to the lakes, and the light was beautiful, everything was hitting, and I wanted to capture her in this type of like setup with the trees, and her in a very powerful kind of goddess mode, because she's like a mermaid, she's like a siren, and she has like this very powerful gaze. And what she told me was just like, I feel very sad. And I was like, okay, then that's beautiful. Then that's exactly what you need to express, because it also helps you to do catharsis. And then this girl, after this sadness, and you know, then we went into the water, and then we did amazing shots. And then when we were on the car on the way back to Berlin, she was like, wow, I feel so much better. Like, I feel like it's such a release. And I listened to my intuition, and I knew doing a photo shoot with you would be incredible, because it would help me to channel all of that sadness and all of that overwhelming kind of feelings into something else. And I'm just very grateful that this is the life that I can say this, you know, that I'm able to make a living out of traveling the world and making photography and offering experiences for people to feel safe, to feel beautiful, to feel seen, to feel like they can express anything and everything would be received and accepted in a good way. In the way that I'm building my photo shoots, and it's evolving every time more and more and more and more, it's like I'm not looking, like, the main goal of the photo shoot, it's not to deliver beautiful pictures for the person to post on social media or for the person to have. I think like this, the photos of course are important and they're a byproduct of the experience, but what I want people to experience when they shoot with me is really to feel beautiful. First of all, to feel beautiful, not in the sense of like, I'm beautiful, I have perfect hair, I have perfect makeup, I have perfect outfit, and I just look stunning, which of course it's valid, but I think there's this, the real beauty comes from loving and accepting each part of you, each layer of you, the light and the darkness, everything, the whole spectrum, and not just wanting to show off one version of you, the version that everybody loves, you know, the version that it's celebrated. I think it's so beautiful when people get ugly. Like, show me your deepest traumas, show me your deepest wounds and your pain, and express it and use it as fuel to create art, you know? Like, this is exactly what I want to create. So yeah, anyways, this is my sharing for the moment, and the kind of the evolution that happened from episode number 2 when I was in Berlin and feeling like so stuck and so like desperate for things to happen and kind of like move in the way that I wanted. But you know, at the end of the day, like, I just needed to trust the process, and I just needed to really relax, you know? Like, you need to be in this frequency of everything's okay, everything's working out for me. When you start to be desperate and when fear appears and when all of these lower frequencies appear, then baby, you're ruining everything for yourself and for your manifestation. Because I swear to God, I had this time, but of course I try to ground a lot, and I'm trying to like, okay, even if I feel the fear, even if, because I'm human, at the end of the day, we're all humans, so of course we're gonna feel all of these emotions. It's natural, and it's completely normal to be scared. And even if you know that everything's gonna work out for you, and at the end you will reach your higher self, so everything's gonna be okay. We don't really die. Like, nothing's that serious. We're just energy going through this portal, and we will evolve into something else. So at the end of the day, anything that happens is not that serious. We're light and love, and we're God. So everything's working out. Everything will work out. But it's natural for humans to feel fear and to feel overwhelmed and to feel afraid sometimes, of the outcome. Absolutely. Life can be fucking scary, especially when it comes to money and stuff, and like make a living and have a home. But, I was going through these emotions, but then I was grounding myself, and I was like putting myself in the center again and being like, this is going to be okay. Just trust. It's going to work out. You just got to trust. You don't never ask how. Like, this is the main rule. Don't ask how, because when you start with the hows, how am I gonna make it? How am I gonna get the money? How am I gonna get paid? How am I gonna get the clients? Well, you don't know. Nobody knows. You just have to roll the ball. Just have to start. Like, the best thing you can do is give the first step and start the motion. So once, even if you're moving slow, it's much better than no energy at all, than no motion. Because when you're stagnant, then the energy gets stuck, and then things don't happen. Like, what if when I lost my social media client job, I would have stayed in the fear, and I would have started to apply to other social media jobs or remote jobs and kind of like be stuck in the same pattern of being a slave for someone else. I didn't want that. So I'm like, even if it's scary, I will put all my energy into what I believe, into my project, into my gift, into my art, and what gives me passion, and I really thought, what would be an ideal day for me to wake up to and be so happy about my life? And I just followed that. And of course, in the beginning, it was fucking scary. And of course, in the beginning, like the first week, I would say, nobody was messaging me. Nobody was wanting to contact me for photo shoots. It was just not happening. But it was exactly what needed to happen. I also needed this time to kind of land in Berlin. And then it kind of switched, I went from feeling not so at home in Berlin and feeling like, oh, I want to go to Copenhagen. I want to really come back to my family and my friends and like experience the island again, and all of these thoughts, and I was like, why did I even come to Europe? And now I'm jobless and I'm unemployed, and what's gonna happen? And then when I really trusted, and when it's like everything just started to click, and I started to meet the right people, and I started to connect with the nice friends, and then I started to see like the Copenhagen bubble in Berlin. And I went to Kit Kat on Friday night like 2 weeks ago, which is not my cup of tea, by the way. I don't like this type of kinky places that are so in your face, like, oh, I'm sexual and I'm kinky and I'm hot. It's like, the hottest energy in the world is that people that are not trying to be hot. They just believe they're hot wearing a shirt and pants, and that's the hottest thing for me. So when it's too in your face, it's just not my thing. But I love radical expression, and I love sexual positivity, and I love people to go to these places. I wouldn't see myself going there again. But then on Saturday night, I tried Sisyphos, and oh my God, this is my place. Like, when I'm telling you, I entered the doors of this place, and it's like a festival. It's outdoors. You can breathe. Everybody's happy. Everybody's wearing crazy costumes, like a festival. And so, yeah, I went there Saturday and Sunday, and now it's my place. Now it's like, now I get to know so many beautiful souls that feel like soulmates, and so many friends from Copenhagen were there as well. So it really feels like Berlin took a while to really like open the doors for me, but it was still being like, like being like the lobby, and being like, okay, I'm just gonna hold space for you to feel comfortable, for you to feel home, for you to prepare and build a foundation. Because if I open the door for you to all the fun and all the experiences and all the like what you're looking for, then you're gonna lose it, and you're like not grounded enough yet to hold it, And this is also the thing we need to understand. When we want things so desperately, but it's not coming to our life yet, it's like, it doesn't mean that you're not gonna get it, because it's your birthright to get everything you want and to live the life that you dream. Everything, if you can dream it, you can have it. If you can experience it in your body, if you can feel the emotion and you can imagine it, then you can experience it in real life, right? It's just like this. You're entitled to have everything you want and be anything you want. Like, this is the life, you know. We came here to be humans and to be anything, you know. We can be anything. We came here knowing nothing, and we can learn everything, and we can become anything. So it's quite fascinating to live a life, you know. And once you figured out that you can just do it, then it becomes so fucking beautiful. And it's like the best game, you know. It's like you wake up every day and it's like, I want to play this game where now I get the rules, now I get how to play it. So it's fucking amazing to play. But when there's certain levels that you don't get access to, because you need to be prepared for those levels, you know. You need to hold it, you need to be ready to hold and maintain that. So when I look at my life and how I've been flirting so much with success when it comes to acting and modeling and photography, it's like, it's been there since I'm 19, you know. I got I got casted for a movie when I was 19 in Venezuela, out of nowhere, you know. Like, I just went to a casting, my first casting, I never acted before, and I got the role, for the leading role for a movie in Venezuela. So, you know, what are the chances? It's really like this type of artistic path has been knocking on my door literally for many years, but I've never seen like extreme success with it, you know. It's been always like here and there a few projects, and you know, also I feel like I didn't have the energy and the determination to really follow it and be like, I will follow this path, because there was so many parts of me that were still stuck in the matrix and stuck in the fear of, what if I don't have a job? You know, how am I going to maintain myself if I don't have a steady 9-to-5 job? So there was a lot of programming that I needed to deprogram, and a lot of things that I needed to unlearn to be able to be in this frequency where I am now, where I completely trust. And I'm like, I don't care if I don't have a job. I'm going to make it. I'm going to be a star. You know why? Because I have nothing left to lose. This is a quote from Lady Gaga from the Marry the Night video. And Lady Gaga is such a big inspiration for me. Like, really, I not only love her music and her art, not too much the things that she does now, but what she was doing back in the day when she came out and she was like this revolutionary freak, you know, completely careless. What a rebel. Like, she didn't give a fuck about anything. She was just pushing the boundaries and doing amazing music videos. But also her frequency was so strong because she believed in herself, you know. She, even if so many record labels told her that she wasn't good enough, she wasn't hot enough, she wasn't beautiful enough, she still pushed through and believed it and started to say it as like, I'm already the biggest fucking artist in the world, and I'm successful by sharing and creating my art. Then it became reality. So it's just a matter of timing and things aligning and piling up in the right way, and you to be in the frequency to be able to hold and sustain all of this. And then everything just clicks, and it just happened to me, and I'm experiencing it now in real life. And I'm so glad that I'm documenting all of this process, because then I feel like people can really find inspiration in this and find, like, there's nothing that would make me happier than that my experience and my message and what I'm going through now can really inspire people to get out of the comfort zone and start trying something that makes them happier. Because honestly, life can be so miserable when you're forced to do things, and when you're forced to do a 9-to-5 and wake up with an alarm and go to work every day on something that you don't like, and have coworkers that you hate, and being forced to wear clothes that you don't want. It's like, oh, that sounds like a nightmare. And that's, most people's lives are like this. And my life used to be like this. So I really hope for people to really have the opportunity and the chance to dive deeper into themselves and discover what they want, and discover their power, and discover that they are the creators. So then they can jump out of all of that cage, all of that limiting beliefs, all of that stuff that keeps us so stuck in fear and shame, and like, oh, overthinking and being so overwhelmed with thoughts, and what am I going to do, and how is it going to work out? Oh, it's so overwhelming, but it's just all in your head, you know? And then when you finally come out of that, life is so beautiful, and life feels so nice. Life feels like a fucking blessing. And then you're just enjoying what's given to you, you know? Like, everything that it's presented to you, it's for you, it's yours, it's your birthright, you know? So just take it in, baby. Everything's available in the field, in the universe. You just gotta grab it, think about it, feel the frequency, and then it just appears. It's just like magic. Humans are so powerful beings. We have way more power than we could ever comprehend. Like, it's just out of this world, because we're the same energy as this tree. It's the same as me, as the animals, as the universe, as the water, the sun, the stars, everything is the same. So if those entities and beings and living organisms can be so powerful and have such an impact, imagine what we can do if we have such elevated consciousness, and we're like the smartest being, which sometimes I think humans got lost a little bit on the way, but I think humans are fascinating, and it's fascinating the power that love has, because all of this happens when you really find love, and when you love your life and you love yourself and you're just the frequency of love and bliss, then it's just magic, and you can accomplish anything once you're ready to hold it and receive it, but there's a lot of evolution that needs to happen, and it just doesn't happen like this. I wish it was, but life needs to take you through it, and then when you finally see and receive everything as like an offering for you, if it's good, it's an offering, it's a gift, it's a bliss. If it's bad and it feels overwhelming, it's okay. It's a bliss, it's a blessing. It's always like, it's a lesson, it's like a challenge that it's putting you through something, it's aligning you and redirecting you exactly where you need to go. And sometimes we're so stuck and so stubborn in like, I want it this way, I want my life to be this way. It's like, what do you know? You could have an idea of what you want, but really the path is not for you to decide. You have to be open for the flow to slap you in the face many times, just so you can redirect and go in the path that you are meant to go. And now I feel that, at least for now, for this time in my life, for this season, I am completely fulfilled living the dream that, the life that when I was in quarantine, living in Argentina, stuck in an apartment for 6 months, and I was manifesting. Back then I had a shitty job in a clothing store, making like 500 euros a month, working like a slave, and with no savings and with no knowledge about the world. I've never been to Europe, I've never been to Asia, I've never left South America before. And at that point I had like this big, and when I look back and when I think about it, I had this big desire and push, kind of like a soul mission or like a soul calling of like, I want to go out and explore the world. It was bigger and stronger than me. It was like, I really want to do it. And I was writing down on my journal, like, I wish I could live on an island where life feels like a festival every day. And I wish I could just be surrounded by people that are open-hearted and that inspire me and are my muses, and we create art together. I want to be surrounded by artists. I want to be surrounded by people that I can create art with and cycle around with my bike around the city and be able to travel and do photography. And no shit, this is exactly my life now. No shit. Now, the thing that I would like to put on the table, and now it's like, I'm already experiencing some changes, but this is the thing that I feel I would love to experience as well, would be like a nice romance. And I'm not thinking like, oh, I would love to have the love of my life right away, but a nice romance, some sensual experience with a beautiful, grounded masculine would be so nice to have. It would be just perfect. But at the same time, I'm completely surrendered to the experience and the process that I'm going through. So if it's not happening naturally and effortlessly, then it's because it's not the right time. It's because I need to focus and use all my energy into something else. Because this is also the thing. When I love fully, and I love with all my being. And sometimes I get a little bit distracted when I'm too in love with someone, and I'm just like, they become the center of my world. And this is also something that I need to kind of evolve into, that my center of my world is me and my project and my passions and my things, which is kind of like what I'm doing now. It's redirecting all of this streamed energy that I was putting out into, I want to find a partner, and I want men to look at me like, please look at me like, oh, here, I'm perfect, I'm the perfect partner. And then this kind of changed this year, and I'm redirecting all of that energy that I was wasting into myself, into my projects, my mission, my passion, into me, into myself, into, and it feels so good. It feels fucking amazing. So yeah, this is the message that I wanted to talk about today. And what I wanted to dive deeper on is that I think everyone is a super powerful being. Everyone has exactly the tools and the talents and the skills to completely offer the gift that they have to the world and be able to monetize it and be able to make a living out of it. That's everyone's dreams and that's everyone's possibilities, because if you have a screen where you can watch this video and you have internet and you're very privileged already, you know, you're already like in the very slightly small percentage of the world that can get access to information and education and the internet. You can learn everything. Like, I didn't go to college, but I learned photography on my own. I learned how to edit videos. I learned English by myself. Everything I've learned, I'm self-taught, you know? And if I can do it, if I could do it, coming from Venezuela, from a country who's broke, like completely broke, experiencing so many crises, experiencing so many diseases, like a tumor in my brain, being completely bullied and abused when I was a child and a teenager. And when I look at like my past life and how I could have ended up if I didn't leave Venezuela, you know, if I didn't have this push, I'm like, oh my God, I would have ended so sad and depressed, because I would have been living a life that was not mine and that was not meant for me to follow. But when you get stuck and when you don't push yourself out of, you know, and you don't put yourself in motion, then you become a prisoner of the life that was given to you by the system and by your family. And of course, you as a soul, you decided that you wanted to born there, but then you as a human being in this present moment, in this identity, you can take any decision you want. So you can just say, fuck it, this life where I was born, or this place where I was born, in this family circle or this community, it's just not my place. I just don't connect with it. And you have all the right to say, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go out to the world and explore everything until I find a place that feels like it aligns with me. And I'm living proof of that. You know, I'm like, the place where I was born and the place where I was raised is the most not aligned place with me. You know, like I don't see myself even visiting my hometown. You know, it would be like extremely triggering for me, but it was the place where I was meant to be born, you know, and those were the people that I was meant to experience life in the first years. But now that life has switched so tremendously, now it's like, now I'm living exactly with the people that I want to live, in the places where I want to live, doing the things that I want to do. And that's so fucking powerful and liberating and inspiring, because then every day for you, it's just like, it's just like a beautiful experience. It's just an offering for you. Every day you wake up and you're like, I'm just gonna do whatever gives me the most joy today, and I don't have to follow a schedule, and I don't have to follow any task, and I don't have to give any information to anyone about what I'm doing. I'm just flying like the birds, and it feels fucking good. All right, my loves. So we're coming to an end of this episode of Let's Dive Deeper, sadly. I mean, it's been very cozy to sit on this chair that I just found when I was walking around the park. There's like a lot of white chairs. And this one has like a plaque that says Eva Maria Grevo. And then the rest is in German, so I have no idea what it says. But I guess thank you to Eva Maria, who created this chair. It's related to something on this chair. The chair, it's my throne today to share my message and share whatever was going on in my mind, which I think it's so beautiful that I have a space where I can share my experience, and then there's other people that could resonate with that and take something out of that, take something out of value from what I'm going through and what I'm living in the present moment. You know, it's very real, it's very raw. Like I also, it's mesmerizing for me how the energy switched from the first episode to this episode. You know, like on the first episode I was like frustrated and and also like being like, yeah, I'm just working on my projects and I'm just being sober. And honey, let me tell you, like if you're able to stay sober all the time in Berlin, you're a fucking badass. Because I don't consider myself someone who is like too cravey about drugs anymore. I had a time in my life where I was like, okay, I want to get high every day, but luckily with natural plants. This is like disclaimer, because I know there's a lot of like people who see my lifestyle and see that I go to a lot of parties and stuff, and it's pretty easy to make assumptions that I take a lot of stuff. But quiet, we need a little break. There's a helicopter flying around. I would need to take a ride to the main station. So can you please, would you be so kind to take me there, Mr. Officer? I would love that. Anyways, so I know it's pretty easy to assume that based on my lifestyle and based on my party enjoyments, like I love partying and I love dancing and I love to be in these environments, it's pretty easy to assume that I take a lot of drugs, which I'm not gonna lie. And I love transparency. And I think that everything that you do, you should be proud of. If you're doing something that you feel ashamed of or that you feel that you need to hide it, then you should consider you either shouldn't do it or you should do it openly, And of course, these things are illegal in most countries. And of course, it's not something that we can all be like, oh yeah, I love to get high, but everybody loves to get high. But anyways, I do enjoy getting high now at this time in life, but in a more conscious way and with control and with kind of like respecting my body a lot. So for example, I'm always down for weed and mushrooms and LSD. These are like my holy trinity are those. But in Berlin, it's like, oh, there's so much offer of things like different powders. And when I'm on that environment and I want to enjoy myself and I'm like, I want to dive into the experience, I'm like, let's just fucking go and do it. But with care, with trust and doing it in a safe way, because there's ways to do it and there's ways to do it. You could like party for 4 days in a row and just take everything, or you could go to the party and use substances as your company to enhance what you're going through, enhance the connection that we have with your friends, and enhance the music and enhance everything. And then just take very small portions and just enjoy it. And then when it's over, you go to sleep, you take a shower, you eat something delicious and nutritious, you wake up the next day very fresh, and then you go for the next round. And that's exactly how I've been doing it. And I think it's perfect. And I think it's amazing. And then the next day, I don't feel like super hangover and I don't feel like, oh my God, I hate my life. It's just like learning how to do it in a right way that it's sustainable as well. But yeah, anyways, that's everything that I have to share for today on Let's Dive Deeper. I would love to know about your experience listening to this podcast, and I would love to have some feedback of like, what do you think about the topics that I'm sharing? I'm also very open to discuss in the comments anything that I'm talking about. If you want me to dive deeper in next episodes, or if you want me to talk with you deeper privately about, I'm very open for that. But also, I would be open to hear your recommendations on what kind of topics would you like me to share? Would you like me to share more things about my past, or would you like me to share, I don't know, maybe have guests with me? That would be also very interesting to have guests and kind of have a bounce back, ping pong kind of interaction in the podcast. But so far, I like to keep it as my journal, and I love to keep it as a tool to have the people that want to connect deeper with me and want to know me better. This is a good place to just sit down and talk and share, and yeah, also use my experience as a kind of school, or like as a way for people to learn and have different perspectives. I don't know. Anyways, this is it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I have a train to catch. I'm on my way to Leipzig because I'm doing some photo shoots there, and I'm very excited. Like the day today is just fucking beautiful. The energy is flowing so nicely, and I'm just ready to go. So I'll see you on the next chapter. Thank you so much, beautiful being, for listening and for being present on this podcast and to listening to the message that I had to share, and for just existing and living and being in my life. Like, even if we're not friends, if we're not connected physically, or if we're not connected like deeply, I still feel you. You're part of my life, and I'm very grateful that you take the time to sit down and listen to all of this. It really means a lot, and I love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.